Chapter 11. An Idiot's Plan. Okay, so when you click here, you get the general game codes, but I can't do anything with them unless I want another shock. Eve pointed to the random numbers across her screen. I moved slightly on Eve's bed in hopes of getting a better look at the image. Eve's room was larger than mine, but smaller than Hal's. It was a pink coloring, matching her hair, with white carpets that looked as if they had been burnt. Stuffed animals filled her bed, but most were torn and ripped before being sewn back together. Monitors covered the wall furthest from the closed wooden door. The screens were filled with images of the town and outside of the home. She must really want to keep an eye on everything. "Are you even listening?" Eve snapped and flicked my forehead. "Ow! Yes, I'm listening," I lied. "Oh yeah? What's the difference between a DVI cable and a graphics card?" "Okay, I know I wasn't actually listening, but I think you just made those things up." "You're hopeless," she sighed. "So what if I am?" I smirked, and laid flat across the white sheets. "Can you be serious for like 5 minutes?" she laughed. Eve laid back with me. I used all my seriousness for the day. "Oh, from figuring out a clue? Poor baby." Eve pushed her cheeks out much like a chipmunk as she talked. I pushed her playfully. "You look creepy like that." "Maybe that's what I want you to think." "And why would you do that?" "The creepier I look, the fewer questions I'm asked." Eve's tone took a dark turn. "That's not going to work, you know. At least, not on me," I pointed out. "And why would that be?" "Because I think everyone is creepy, and if I were too afraid to ask questions, I'd never get answers," I admitted. Eve sat up, looking back at her computer screen. "We really need to get back to work." Well, she was fast to change the subject. We sat for hours, staring through files and enduring shocks. I'm surprised neither of our hearts stopped from the electricity. "Eve, I think we need to give it a break," I sighed. "No, we're so close to figuring out the next clue," Eve persuaded. "All we found out was that we can access the files of players who are logged out," I barked tiredly. "It's something, isn't it?" Eve argued. "How is it supposed to help us?" My mind raced with ideas and situations. Are the clues even connected? There are so many ways that he could make this go, but he did say that Eve would find this interesting. "I don't know," she sniffled. "Please don't cry, Eve. We'll get this," I ensured. "I'm not crying. I don't cry. I'm just allergic to idiots." She sniffled again. "Then I shouldn't be around you, should I?" "No, you shouldn't. But I like it." Eve blushed. A thought dawned upon me. "Hey, what was Hal's brother's screen name?" The pink-haired girl began to type quickly, searching through the hard drive. She pulled up a file. A boy's image appeared. He looked just like Hal, but he seemed happier. He was in a red and white baseball uniform. His smile was warm and filled with childish joy. I noticed in his hand was a wooden bat. "Hey, Eve, where do you guys get things like bats?" I asked. My mind thought back to Ian. What we don't make or buy for credits, we woke up with. It's the one thing besides our phones that connects us to the real world. I woke up with my computer, Alice had a roll of duct tape and a graphing notebook, and Hal had a red marker and a whiteboard. "John, what did you have?" "Nothing but the clothes on my back," I admitted, lost in my thoughts. "What was Hal's brother's screen name?" "Why do you want to know so much?" Eve questioned. "Remember at the warehouse? You opened the door with a fire hydrant. I think Marcus has something to do with this," I explained. "He was the analyst," Eve finally told me. "What happens to real-world items after the player is logged out?" I questioned. "I don't know. Ask Hal," Eve told me. I jumped from the bed, rushing out of my room. I really think I'm onto something. I knocked on Hal's door with a rushed force. "Hal, open the door," I commanded. "Nice way to ask, but the door is unlocked," I heard from the other side. I opened the unlocked door. Hal sat in the center of his dimly lit room, surrounded by those perfectly straight lines. He seemed focused on drawing perfectly. I noticed a white path that led to him, with several turns and an unnecessary maze of lines. How? I need to know what happens when... I began to walk directly towards him, ignoring the marked path. Stop! Don't you see the lines? He barked. Yeah, so? You have to follow the path marked. It's the only way, he demanded. I don't have time for this. Or rather, you don't. I moved through the maze directly towards him, making sure not to step on any red. He seemed annoyed, but hey, I didn't step on any red. Why didn't you follow the path? Wouldn't that have been easier? Hal questioned with a hint of spite. Because this was faster. Now how? What happens to players' items after they're logged out? I asked before he could complain. A long sigh escaped his lips, met with a threatening glare. Don't cross my lines again. I won't, but this is important, I agreed. Credits are up for grabs 1 hour after death, but the cell phone and body will disappear. As for the world item we brought with us, that goes to the bank. Now, why is this so important? Hal asked. I think we need your brother's item. A surprised look painted his face. What gives you the right? Do you want to live or not? I spat. The room fell silent. Like it or not, I think I have an idea. Marcus was the analyst. Maybe he has something to analyze the blood on the glove. We won't know until we go and find out, I claimed. Fine. Do what you want. But I swear, if you do anything to hurt Yvette or Alice, I will personally hunt you down and murder you in cold blood. Got it? Hal growled. I gulped. I don't think I've ever seen him so pissed. I guess that's what happened when you get your memories back. Hal, I'm sorry for bringing it up. But just like you and the girls, I don't want to die here. I kind of apologized. I know, and that's why I let you stay here. If I didn't think you could make it to the end, you wouldn't be here now, Hal smiled, standing from the floor. Let's go get the girls. I nodded, with a smile. He honestly thinks I can make it? Then I know I can. We'll all make it if that's the last thing I do. That's a promise. I followed the white path properly out of Hal's room. I knocked on Eve's door. Hal knocked on Alice's as we headed down the stairs to the living room. Hal sat in his white chair and we all took our places. John has thought up a plan, Hal began. He believes that Marcus, the analyst, is connected to the glove we found at the warehouse. You three will be heading to the bank to open the vault in which his worldly item is stored. And why should I listen to him? Alice barked. Because I said so, Hal commanded. But why him? He's just a blank, Alice argued. Then let him learn. If we fail tonight, then you know who to blame, Hal explained his reasoning. I won't let that happen, I snapped. Failure is how you learn victory, said Alice. I looked to Hal, who seemed to be having too much fun with this. Good thing I don't know either, I smirked.